atmosphere for you to create in, to hold up your prayer, to take a look at your desires. And God answer all good desire. We have for you this 29-minute service full of good to pollute you with good ideas, with absolute ideas of God, absolute ideas from the foundation of the world. A 29-minute broadcast of solid good. The Church of Life Scientists, brought to you by us, right into your room. The Church of Life Scientist has 3 points. Yes, just 3 points in our doctrine. Easy to remember, because we like practicality. We want to hear about your results, not you intellectualizing or comparicizing our doctrine with others. We want to hear about your results, your joy, your fruit. 3 points that cover all things, all truth, the principle, all motivational books, all self-help books, brought down to 3 points for you from a church. Spirituality, no matter what you call things, church, books, self-help books, they are all utilizing the one truth. Truth. Our 3 points in our simple doctrine. Number 1, the mental diet. Self-explanatory, and it's beautifully put combination of 2 words. The mental diet. Where you're to diet your mind from negation. But we're serious this time. I know you've read books. I know you've had teachers. But this time, we've made it so simple. You don't have to run to your book. You remember the name of our first point, the mental diet. And it's telling you, diet your mind from negation. Diet your mind from all things that run contrary to your thrust, to your progressive movement. Take it out. The mental diet. Diet your mind. But a diet also has another use. we're to put the things in our body. For example, that we would like to show up as a corresponding result on our body because of that mineral or vitamin that we have induced into the bloodstream. Well, it's the same thing with the mental diet. Separating the wheat from the chaff. Taking out the negation. But I want you to fantasize about what you want. I want you to visualize what you want. This is the mental diet. You're placing in your soul what you want so that God can read it. You're praying. Every thought is a prayer. And I'm with you to remind you right now. And as I come up in your mind throughout the week, saying, mental diet, stick to it-ness. Think about the good. If you can remember some 20 months ago, when I was saying, think about the good. Well, now we have a new inducer. The mental diet. So you can be accountable to yourself. What am I thinking? Where am I going? What am I doing? Does it pertain to the future I've mapped out? Does it pertain to my calling? Is it a productive thought? Well, you better get serious about your career if you want anyone else to get serious about you. You've got all the time in the world to produce what you want, but not if you don't start. Not if you don't pick a starting time. Decision. The one greatest fault of all of mankind is inability to make a decision. He wants someone to tell him what to do. Well, I'm telling you what to do. Make a decision. And use the mental diet to keep your decision in focus so that you won't have despair, so that you won't give up. You've made your decision. Now all thoughts that accompany that decision, you will highlight them. You will fantasize, visualize with these beautiful pictures of you in the role you've chosen. And when someone challenges you, or when you challenge yourself, say, no, I'll not have it. Out with the offender. I'm using my mental diet as a training ground to get my thoughts conducive to projecting the thing that I am. I'm using the mental diet. Point number 2. The allness of God. Point number 2 supports our mental diet. For you may ask, why is it that I can think only about the good and reject thoughts of limitation and lack and things that seem real and worthy of my attention? What can I base this activity on? This activity of looking at the good and rejecting all else. Well, that's why we have the second point, the allness of God. You're basing it on this. The scripture reads, the scripture teaches that we have but one maker. We have but one creator. Monotheism. One God. There are not gods, many. We have one God, and this one God creates only one way. Can create only one way. God created all things, and without God was not anything made that was made. You'll find that in the Gospel of John. So when we have one creator creating one way, this means there is only good. And you can base putting your mind on the good, only on the good. You have every right to take this back to the scripture that says one creator creating one way. You have every right to look for good. But if you're going to look for evil, you're going to find it. If you're going to talk about evil, it's going to boomerang back on you. But you do have every right to expect good. And you do have every right to not, to make the choice to not accept error in your life. It starts in your thinking, doesn't it? And then, lo and behold, it reflects in your world. I know you know this. The part that you haven't done is hung on to it. no matter how you're tempted to look at fascinating or beautiful evil. You have made the choice that you want fruit in your life, that you want good in your life, that you want supply. So you must hang on to this game. You must continue with your mental diet, with your belief in truth, with your belief that God is all good. You must continue, even though everyone will give you illusions of the very opposite, stories of the very opposite, fears of the very opposite. But you know that if you can hold your mind on these points, that it will proportionately show up in your world. You know that this is true. So now you can contain yourself in your own world, holding yourself accountable to this principle. If I just keep looking for good, I'm going to find it. And even if I fall to the side, if I return to the mental diet, things are going to shape around back in that direction. So if you really want good, if you really want relief, Reverend Bruce Howard and the Church of Life Scientists has brought it all down, not just to a formula found in a 200-page book, not just in a formula found in a church doctrine, but it has been brought down to 3 points. 3 points that if you use them against each other, it will suffice every situation, every thought. Now you know if you think good, there's a corresponding result. That's not the problem. You understand this. You intellectually understand and see it. The situation is, will you choose to have it manifest in your life? Will you work it? Will you come into it? Will you use it? Or will you still watch the other news, the bad news? Will you still agree with the sellers of bad ideas? Will you still hold hands with those that would drag you down, that would tell you that your sights are set too high? Will you listen to them, or will you listen to me? Or is your dream just really a fantasy? That the fantasy in itself satisfies you. You don't want to go to bed with anybody. You just want the fantasy. You don't want your career. You just want to think about it. That's all right. There's a lot of people in that category. But I'm talking to those of you that are still on the same track after 10 years, 15 years, knowing that you are here for a reason and you're gonna find it. That's what I'm here for, to help you. I love you. I'm gonna shout at you. I'm gonna wake you up. I'm gonna remind you. I'm gonna love you. I'm gonna preach to you. I'm gonna teach to you. And I'm not going away. I'm with you. This is the very category that I'm with. Those that have not given up, they're still after it. They're still going. The course seems long, but let me give you a hint. You have to keep applying the same things that you've been applying over and over and over and over. In self-help book language, persistence, decision preceding that, desire, persistence. Yeah, those things never go away. You have to keep applying all those things that you think you're tired of using. And you say, oh, they don't work. I've had some measure of success, but I'm working and struggling. And you put things to the side. Well, that's why we have the mental diet. With the mental diet, your mind is constantly seeing what you want, passing before it. And you've taken out the rest because I said so, because the church deems it fit to teach you about the mental diet and hammer it and hammer it. And it makes sense. You are what you think. One word that can keep you on your mark. 2 words, 1 phrase, the mental diet. What am I doing? What am I thinking about? Why am I thinking about that? The mental diet, that can crush. That's no good. Throw it out. But better than that, you're looking. I'm giving you freedom to fantasize and think. Shut the rest of the world out. And do dream. And do fantasize. Even that's more popular today than it was to dream. The dream child is more accepted. But while you're dreaming, I want you to keep something else in mind. When things argue with your dream, get rid of them at any expense. Think about anything else. Get rid of it. Fantasize. Picture. Look at a magazine. Call somebody. Get rid of it. Mental diet. Get it out. Get out of here. Hit the road, Jack. Out of here. No good. I don't belong to that thought. That thought doesn't belong to me. Out. That's the difference between a dreamer that never manifests his dream and the dreamer that lives to tell his glorious story about his dream and how he did it, that he doesn't know how he did it, but he wanted it. I want my dream. I want my dream, and I want a dream for you. I'm Reverend Bruce Howard, here to keep your dream alive, baby.